welcome to Morning Breakfast with Emmanuel. I'm back again yet with another amazing episode. When I say amazing episode, I mean amazing episode. So I'm doing a series on a broken home is a broken nation. So on today's episode, I wasn't alone. I was joined by my elder brother, my mentor, my everything, someone who inspires me a lot. So we're gonna share a lot. So you gotta stay glued to my channel, gotta stay glued to my Facebook page. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be an amazing journey, I tell you. So we are doing a series on a broken home is a broken nation. So I'm not gonna introduce him. I'm not going to introduce him. I'm sure he's gonna introduce himself. So welcome, Mr. Sebastian.
Sure, welcome. Nice to see you, man.
Nice to see you. It's been a while since I saw you.
Yeah, I think from the time that we did the last interview.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's good we are meeting on set today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I've been seeing you moving up and down. You're here, you are there, you're here, there. So I was like, okay. I'm really grateful that you had to find time to have a conversation with me because I know you're a very busy man.
Yeah, sure.
A very busy man. So like I said in the first place, we are doing a series on the broken home is a broken nation.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna say much, so I'm gonna ask you, Mr. Sebastian. So when somebody says a broken home is a broken nation, what's your interpretation?
Actually, before I go into that, and just try to answer your question.
Okay.
You mentioned first you didn't introduce me, so you said I'll introduce
yourself exactly.
That's what
Thanks for the correction.
Before we go into the business,
Okay.
My name is Boston, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my name. I'm an entrepreneur, a businessman, and a family man as well.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so that's about me.
That's about
Yeah, and I know that information is for the viewers,
Exactly.
not for you.
Exactly.
Okay, it's a very good topic that you've brought up, and I feel it's something that if we dive into it, we'll be able to, share our opinions and just be able to educate each other in one way or the other way. Indeed, a broken home is a broken nation. What does the saying mean, or how do I take it? What's my interpretation of that? I think that's what you're looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah. First and foremost, this is a very complex topic, I would say. It's a very wide topic that we can discuss and talk about issues. But it is very important for us to break it down and begin to understand it from that angle. So when you talk about a broken home, we need to understand first what is a home. Okay. Before it is broken, it is a home. So we need to understand. So how do I take it? A home, of course, you understand that. I'll give you an example. Are you married?
No, not yet married.
Yeah.
In the process.
In the process. Yeah, good. Okay. So for me, I'm trying to put it in a layman's language. Okay. So if you are not married, and for instance you are staying on your own, we don't call that a home.
Exactly.
You understand? So we say, okay, Mano stays there, that is your house, and so on and so forth. It is not a home. So at what point does it become a home? When you are married. So the foundation of a home, it's actually a husband and a wife. So when there is a husband, there is a wife, then you call it a home. Then now you begin to bring in children, relatives who are coming to visit, and so on and so forth. Then now that consolidates, and we call that a home. So it becomes a home when there is a husband and there is a wife. That is a home. So that is the foundation that we are talking about. So let's go deeper now to try and understand. When we talk about a broken home, what are we talking about? We need to understand what is a broken home. Okay. So because we have the home here, which we are calling a home, there is a husband, there is a wife, now there is a family, and that becomes a home now. Now what is a broken home? A broken home could be a home that is starving, without food. That's a broken home. A broken home could be a home that has no peace, fighting every day. insults every day. That could be a broken home. A broken home could be a home of these two people. Remember, I said the wife and the husband, who are not in agreement at the moment, and they've started a home. These two, they started a home. Now there are other people that have come into this home. Who are these? Kids, other family members that are depending on this same family, which is a home. Now, what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is this. So it could be a broken home. Now, these two are not in agreement. It could be by the way of separation. That is a broken home. So in short, a broken home is a home that is torn apart. A broken home is a home that has no peace. A broken home is a home, like I said, a home that has no food. It's a broken home. Njala. It's a broken home. And Njala can do a lot of things in a home. It can cause children who are very young to start stealing because there is no food at home. That is Njala. So now the home is broken. And that is what we are talking about. So when we say, now, a broken home is a broken nation. Now we need to understand this. The anchor of the nation, the anchor of the community, depends on a family, which is a home. That is a foundation. You cannot just fall from heaven and be part of the society. You are supposed to pass through the home, which is a family. You understand what I'm saying? So meaning, a home plays a very big role in shaping up the nation. Because everything, at the end of the day, we can be here, we can be there, but there comes a time that all of us, we must go back to our homes. And it all starts from there, and it ends from there. So what are we trying to talk about? What I'm trying to say is this. Every community that we'll see today belongs to a home. And the devil knows this very much, that if the devil can tamper with a home, then the devil can tamper with a nation. You understand what I'm saying? True. A home is a ground of breeding morals, values, inculcating them in the children. That's why long before you agree with me, if you've read about these stories, I know, in as much as I stayed before in the village, but I think in our generation, I wasn't privileged, but we've read these stories where long before, if Emmanuel, you said you wanted to marry, you wanted a girl to marry, when you go to your parents and say, I think I'm of age now, and I think I found someone that I want to settle with, the first thing that your parents were going to ask you is, who is this lady? When you say the name of the lady, the next question would be, where does she come from? Which family does she come from? It will not end there. They will do their own due diligence before giving you a full consent. They will find out the family members, who are they hardworking, what are the values, what are the values of this family. Now they'll get back to you and they'll say, Emmanuel, you know what, you're not going to get married to that woman. We just discovered that this is a family of drunkards. And because it's a family of drunkards, you will not be allowed to marry into that family. Why are they refusing you to marry into that family? It's because they've done their own due diligence and they've discovered that you are going to enter into a broken home. And they want to protect you from doing that. So, you understand that even when children are growing up in these homes, this is where they are trained. And you agree with me that their family members, if the father was a criminal, the children will be criminals, their grandchildren will be criminals, and so on and so forth. It's not even a generation case. It's about because children learn from what they see. So, it is in these homes, children can go to school, they can go to church, but they'll still come back home. So they still have more time to be in a home. So this is where morals are cultivated. They are inculcated in these homes. Morals, the presidents, the ministers are born from a home. They are coming from a home. So if you have leadership crisis, just know that we are failing to handle ourselves at a home level. Because if I'm to become a minister, I'm a product of a home. And this is why in my community, when you go to my community where I'm coming back from Chitulika, you realize that when I go there, my parents will be proud of who I have become. Teachers who taught me in grade 1, they'll come and see me and take me around and say, this is a child that we taught. What are they saying? He is who he is because we contributed. But if I came from a broken home, I was not going to be where I am. You understand? Exactly. So the logic is where you coming from. It's a home that is actually breeding a good seed or a bad seed. That's why it is very important that we begin to sensitize people. We begin to make people understand the importance of building a strong home. It is very important. And that's why I'm happy that as young as you are, you came up with this very nice and good topic that we can dive into and just share the views and let people know that we must. I was in Deben just a few days ago, and a friend of mine is in the PTA committee at the school. So he says, okay, they've called us for a PTA, so let's just go there before I drive out. When he came back, he shared a story that was so devastating. He says, you know, there were children that were caught with drugs. And now they called us, as we are in the PTA, so they called us so that we can cancel. And we said, the best way is to call the parents. And when the father came, the father for this boy who was caught with the drugs and the friends, and then the father was asking the teachers, there's nothing wrong with that. And the child has been caught with drugs. And now you understand, you and me, you understand, and you look at what is happening. If that child tomorrow goes and kills somebody, where is it starting from? It is starting from the home. That's why if you have strong families, you have strong homes, then you are going to have a strong nation. Because these are the same people who come, like you have come here, you've come from a different home, I'm coming from a different home, another person. When we meet, we are the same people that will be called Zambians. We meet in South Africa. And they will say, there comes the Zambians. If we portray a bad picture, they will say, Zambians are like this.
True.
You understand what I'm saying? Zambians are like this, meaning this is how they live in their homes in Zambia. I don't know if I'm very...
Yeah, like you've really answered my question. So like I came across a picture on Facebook. I think it posted something, I think if it's a month or some weeks back. There was a picture that was on Facebook. You are with your brown friend, and where you are somewhere, and then you are looking, the way you are looking and now you are looking now, there's a very big difference. In short, to say this man was coming from a background that was not really, he was not coming from a comfortable background, but from a poor background. So like you becoming the man that you are, I've seen you going into hospitals, helping out people. I've seen you indulging yourself in politics. So like, did your parents really influence you in becoming the man that you are today, or is this something that you just made along the way?
Look, like I said, I'll tell you something very amazing about my parents. I come from a poor background. Yeah, I lived in most of my times. I lived in Chitulika, in Impika. Chitulika is not a place that you look at and say there is milk and honey. For me, it's a land of hustling. It's a land of working hard. It's a place that is difficult to break forth. You know, we saw our age mates, ladies who were impregnated when we were in grade 6. They stopped on their way. They couldn't finish school. We saw our our friends who started drinking very early at a tender age. Some, when we were in grade 7 writing exams, they were already drunkards. They were already drinking. They were already smoking. But my parents had a very strict rule. You know, my mother was a marketeer. My father was a businessman. And my father had a shop almost next to mom at the market. So most of the times they will knock off together and they will be coming. Whenever you are, when you see them, the first thing that should come into your mind is you must get home. Before they get home, you go and bath. Make sure you don't look dirty when they are coming. Hold the books, even if you are not reading anything. Pretend to hold books or do something constructive. If the worst comes to the worst, there is no book nearby. Go and get a broom and pretend you are sweeping. Because if they find you idle, you are going to be in hot soup. At first, I thought my parents never loved me. You know why? Because when we went out there, we had friends. They would pray as far as 20 hours. Nobody would go and question them. Where are you coming from? Why have you come this time? But for us, it was strict. If you are going to go home late, you should have good reasons before you actually step in there, or else you'll be in hot soup. But when we went outside there, we saw friends that had their freedom. We saw friends almost the whole day they would do nothing. No sweeping, no washing of the plates, no cooking, no what. Their parents would do everything for them. And for us, we thought, I think these guys are loved and not our parents. If I missed school, then my parents shouldn't know about it that I missed school. We were strictly monitored. So parents, my parents played a bigger role. Now I've grown up and I've seen what the society looks like. And you know what? Right now the only thing that I say is, can I be that parent to my children just like my parents were to me? Okay. And that's a level where I am. I feel I've been motivated. I feel I've been inspired. Not only that, my father would call you and begin to tell you, more especially sometimes, you know, my mother would beat us, but not my father. My father would call you, sit you down and tell you how life is. My father would tell you, he would share about his mistakes in life. He would share certain things that made him not to go very far. And he would share and say, my son, if you can avoid this mistake by any means, you avoid them. So that you can be better and take care of me when I'm old. Wow. So I now started looking at things not because I feared my father, but now I started looking at things in a perspective that I was to do better than my father. So the dimension changed. Because now I started looking at, if I'm going to school, I'm not going to be at school and finish classes because I fear my father, but because I wanted to do better than my father ever did. Because he openly told me about his mistakes. He openly told me about his flaws. He openly told me about his strength. He openly told me. And he inspired me a lot. My father inspired me to become a businessman. And he's been teaching me to date how to do business. My father is one person, if I'm commissioned in a new project, he will come, sit with me, and show me how to do things. Yes, my parents played a very big role. That's why all of us, the way we are born, all of us, by the special grace of God, you can look at us and say, yes, I found children. Because we are coming from a home where we are disciplined, we are coming from a home where parents were dedicated to instill discipline in us. If it took them to beat us, they would beat us. So that's what it meant. So parents have influenced and played a very big role in my life and that of my sibling. Even for us to sing a song and be where we are, I think I can still look back at my parents and say, they are my heroes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm really motivated. One day I would love to meet Dad.
Yeah, you will.
Because he has really made a great man.
Yeah, sure.
So like speaking about being a great man, like They are like the world is evolving now. We have what we call human rights, and I remember back then there was what we call corporal punishment, where a parent would get a whip and they whip you and they whip you. But nowadays things have changed. So do you apply the same method that your parents used to use to your children, or have you made any changes regarding educating your children about life?
Okay, you see, I'll tell you this. There is this conflict in terms of the human rights, because like I said, I talked about where we are coming from. I talked about the values back then, well, in terms of our culture as Zambians, where we are coming from. And what people are now watching on the TV. It is a little bit complicated, Emmanuel, to tell you the truth. Nowadays, it's a little bit complicated because you find that the child who is 7 years, 8 years, already has access to these phones.
Exactly.
They can already go and download things on internet. You understand what I'm saying? My son today can hold the phone and do things that I cannot do myself. Just because my son can download games on the phone right now. And so it's a little bit complicated. But then, what is it that we are supposed to do as parents? We need to watch over the kids. We need to have time, spend time with them, talk to them. Like I just shared the story of how my father, I think maybe if it was just the beating alone, maybe I was not going to be where I am. But I told you that I think what motivated me was not the beating, but what motivated me was the story of my father. So it's important also to share our story. It's important also to talk about our flaws to our children. Our kids, tell them, tell them our strengths, tell them about this and that. And we just begin to educate them. It's a little bit complicated. They're not supposed to watch. So you find that at one point or the other point, or at the one point or another, you may find that you don't have actual control over the kids. But what is important and for you to understand is, no matter what it takes, if the world is revolving, we must also revolve around and follow the world. Where it is taking us is where we should be. What am I saying? If technology is being updated, we must also update our software up there and begin to be up to date. Okay? So, what am I saying? It's very easy. Okay? It's very easy to call children and tell them about things, the do's and the don'ts. Tell them in a polite, in a friendly way. Tell them, talk to them. Tell them where you could have missed it. You understand what I'm saying? Tell them where you could have missed it. Tell them there is a greater level you could have reached, which if they never follow that path, they will reach that level. Talk to them. Talk to the kids. The problem that we have is, even like you said, I'm busy, I'm what? That is a problem. Right there we've got a problem. Because we become too busy, even for our own children. So if we are not there for our own children, whatever they see is what they think it is. They watch things watch TV with your children. Don't allow them to be in their rooms, they're watching TV. Watch things with them. Show them the content they're supposed to be watching. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's what is important. But if you leave them to do things on their own, do you know the content they are watching? Be there with them. Like you are saying, it's a little bit complicated. Today, you've got a 16-year-old girl, you cannot touch her phone. So you are infringing on my rights. You cannot go through what's going on in that phone. That's why the best thing to do is to teach the children. Show them love. I made it to myself. That I'll kiss my girl before the boyfriend does. Just that pick. Baby, come here. Mwah. I love you so much. I'll give her the hug. You understand what I'm saying? I'll do everything possible to show love to my child, so that she doesn't go out there, or he doesn't go out there and think whatever that the friends are doing is the right thing. Or whoever is telling her, I love you. Because now the girl will look, or the boy will look. If you say, you're going to do this for me, my father can also do this for me. So you need to show them love. and teach them, and then tell them they are free to make their own decisions. It's up to them. But most important is you direct them to God. Let God be on the center. Pray for them. Because you can do everything possible. But like I said, there are just too many distractions. The best that you can do is lead them to God. Make sure that you have, or you raise your foundation based on Christ. Take them to school. Take them to church. Take them to schools where they can learn things of God. Teach them to love God. That's what my parents taught me. Love God. Every Sunday they made sure I was in church. And that trend has continued. I was in church. Who are the friends? For your own information, my mother used to beat me if she finds me with the friends who were somehow complicated. My mother would, notorious ones, my mother would beat me. You get the point? So you need to know who are the friends to your children. You need to know. You need to understand.
So like there are, speaking about kids, there are situations where mostly the white people say action speaks louder than words. So sometimes you would find that I would be a parent and then I'm an alcoholic. And I feel like what I'm doing is wrong, but I don't have control over it. And then at the end of the day, I want to educate my children not to indulge themselves in alcohol. So how do I make sure that my children don't follow my footsteps? Because at the end of the day, my words won't have value to what I'm telling them.
You need to understand something, Emmanuel. You are the role model to your children.
Okay.
You are the role model to your dependents. And like you rightly put it, there is nothing that beats your action. There is nothing that beats your action. That's why what you don't want your children, what you don't want to see in your children, don't do it. As simple as that. Don't show it to them. What you don't want, whatever you show them is the gospel truth. Nobody will convince them. If they see you stealing, nobody will convince them that stealing is bad. You go with an empty bag to go and steal men's with your child, you are just mentally a thief. You are raising a criminal. If you are addicted to it, do it in the absence of your children. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So as long as you are drinking, you are partying in their presence, they want to live that life. That's a life you are showing them. They're saying, this is the life. My father, my mother lived like this. This is the life. Yes, we've got it. This is the life. So what you show, you are the biggest role model. Right now I spoke about my father, I spoke about my mother. They are my role model. To date, they are my role model. I'll give you an example. Haven't you ever seen a situation, somebody moves from a marriage or his marriage and goes back to the parents, and the parents welcomes him or her, and then the other person moves from the marriage without any tangible reason and say, hey, where are you coming from? Go back to your home. These are two separate homes. But then when you follow the other ones who was welcomed by the parents, go deeper, you find that that is what the father and the mother was doing. Every time they quarrel, they have a fight, you pack your bags, go to your mother. And the children will look at that and say, this is my role model. This is how life should be. If the son was seeing the father beating the mother, she will go and start beating the wife. Family. Because that is what they saw. What you don't want them to do, don't show. It's called in science, it's called etapilalasa. Okay, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it well because it's been long. Okay. Etapilalasa. Etapilalasa means an empty tin. Okay, so according to science, believe that shit. People were sleeping outside and there were no phones by then. People were sleeping outside, they will be knocking as long as they've not introduced themselves. You don't know them. Only to wake up in the morning to find that you actually locked up your relative outside. Because in our community, we were taught if somebody that could be a ghost. If somebody is knocking in the night, you don't have to answer. You understand? And everybody believed. You go and ask a young child, everybody believed, because that is what the community taught us. So there are certain things that begin to have its roots inside of you, and you just believe this is it. And for you to know the truth, you must first break the circle and see the other way, see other things, how other people are doing things.
Exactly. So, Beloved, we are speaking about inspiration now. We talked about parents being an inspiration to the kids. So now, looking at the family setup now, where I've seen a lot of parents, they invest so much in their firstborns. They would make sure that their firstborn does everything right. So that whatever is a good so they'll be able to look up to someone. So okay, someone did that, because it will be very difficult to see my brother fail in school and then my friend is leaving to school, focus on school. So how much effort do you make on your firstborn child?
Yeah, there are a lot of efforts that are done on a firstborn child, and I'll tell you that a firstborn child is a trial and error. Okay, a firstborn child is an experience. To start with, you have been put in a position where you've never been a parent. Okay, so you find out, I'll talk of our mothers. You find that if a woman is having a child for the very first time, that's why they advise that even their mother should come and be with them, or they should go to where the mother is, because they are supposed to learn new things about parenthood, things that they don't know. I wonder why us as men, we don't have our fathers to come and stay with us on our firstborn and begin to learn things. Okay, I'm joking about that. But the point I'm trying to make is that when you are raising kids, and more especially the firstborn, is a try and error. Because you having that child, it's an experiment, so to say. You've never been a parent, and the only thing that you can pray for is, God, make me a good parent. You understand? You will have your flaws there, you will, but every parent would want the best for the child, more especially for the firstborn, like you say. So that if today I'm not there, that my firstborn should take up my position as the father, as the mother, to the siblings, and begin to educate them, begin to teach them what I taught that firstborn. So there are a lot of efforts that personally I'm putting in to make sure that I inculcate certain values in my firstborn child. I make sure that, I teach the child to be obedient. I teach the child to be focused. I teach the child to, work hard in life. I teach the child, things of God, so that the child may learn and be uprooted in the word of God and just begin to understand things as they are. So there are a lot of efforts that you actually make as a parent. But like I said, you are trying your level best, but the best you leave it to God. You can do anything that you want, but it's also important that we pray for these kids, we put them in the hands of God, so that they become who we want them to become. Exactly. Because we will not always be there for them. Remember, after your teaching, they will go and meet their friends who are coming from Bozokadi homes and so on. They don't even care terminologies they use and so on. You just come home and the child is using some terminologies you don't even understand. You don't even know where the child got that language from. They'll go and meet other people in the communities. And that's why you see that nowadays some people say, no, why do you want to isolate yourself and so on and so forth. Sometimes it is for these reasons and purposes that you've seen now people even building mansions and putting up orphans and so on and so forth. Because they want to monitor where their children go. At the end of the day, if the child has gone to school. And now if you are in an open place, sometimes it's difficult because you don't know what the child is learning from the neighbor. You don't know what the child is learning from wherever they've gone. But when you are in an enclosed place, I think you take control. Yeah.
So still speaking about parenthood, how can I put it? I'm sure, looking at you, the way you have been brought up, someone is able to tell this one is coming from a good family. And I'm sure, I want to talk about no one is perfect. So, are there things that you feel like could have known at an earlier stage that you are trying to impact in your children right now?
Financial discipline.
Okay.
Financial discipline is something I was never taught in school. It's something that my parents never taught me. They taught me everything. They wanted me to go to school, but financial discipline, how to be financially disciplined, is something that I've learned on my own, and it's something that I want my children to learn. Financial discipline, when you've got money, what you are supposed to do, you are supposed to guard that money like it's the last money that you are going to ever receive. People are struggling today because of one thing, financial discipline. Today, people can make budgets. Say, I'm going to do that business, I'm going to open a barber shop, I'm going to do everything. When they don't have money, give them money. They'll go and do other things which was not part of the budget. If you want to go and do a surveillance, go and tell people to say, make a budget. Today I'll come with a 10 pin. Or tomorrow I'll come with a 10 pin. Go and make a budget. List the things and take them in ShopRite. 3/4 of the people will buy what is not on the budget. What they did not write. Because they will go there in ShopRite and see this thing that they've never seen or they've been wanting to have it. Now that they've got money, they can afford it. They will say, okay, now I should balance a budget. But soon, by the time some good study arise, major things have been left on the budget. It's another thing. It's a course on its own. Financial discipline. If you need to make it in life, you need to be financially disciplined. That's why sometimes people will call you Uakaso. If you want to do business, my father was telling me, he taught me something. He said, a man went to a witch doctor because he wanted to be rich, and he was a businessman. He wanted to be rich, and he went to a doctor, a witch doctor. Said, Bwana, I've come here because I want to be rich. And the witch doctor looked at him and says, okay, give me 2,000 kwacha. Then I'll give you the chance for you to go and become financially successful. And then the man produced that 2,000 kwacha. Then the witch doctor took another 3,000 plus a 2,000. Then he gave it back to him and he chanted on that money. Brrr, brrr, brrr. And then he gave him and he says, now this money that I've given you, you'll be coming back to the shrine every month. You are going to be giving me 300 kwacha every month. But then you go and start a business. When you start this business, these are the rules that you are going to be following. Number 1, don't use an expensive soap. Number 2, don't buy meat at home. Let everyone eat, fish, rosy, cheap fish, and so on. Then don't rent a big house, don't rent a big house. Rent a house that is below 500. You should not be buying shoes for the next 1 year until you come back. I tell you, you should be putting on tropicals. And so on and so on. He was given those conditions. And then he was told every morning you are supposed to wake up every morning. And when you wake up every morning, you are supposed to wake before everybody goes into the shop, into the shops. You are supposed to go there and get this water, go and sprinkle it into this shop. You know what the witch doctor was trying to do? He was trying to tell him, you open your shop before anybody else opens the shop. So go in the shop, after you put this this water, after you put it into that shop, open the shop for the charm to start working now, and so on. Now people who are passing around, they will see that shop to be the first shop that is opened. So now people, it came to their mind, if you want to buy something before anybody else, there is that shop that opens there. So now, the witch doctor was just trying to give him some financial discipline. If you want to make it in life, don't live a life that you cannot afford. So instead of you going to buy a car, go and buy a bicycle. Instead of you eating meat every day, go and buy a carpenter, which your family can afford, and so on and so forth. That's what. Now, you know what the witch doctor was trying to do? The guy was actually saving on the don't take your children to private school, don't do what, don't. And he followed those rules. And every time he goes, the witch doctor was only upgrading him. He goes there, he says, how is your business doing? No, those sons are working. So now what you are going to do now you can buy a shoe. But you should buy a shoe from Saraula. Now, until the guy made it and just thought, I've got this power of charms, and the moment you will not do what I'm telling you, you go mad. So the guy was being forced to be financially disciplined because he knew that if he misses that chance, he was going to be mad.
So you spoke about principles now, the principles of life. So that's where people get it all wrong. Where you're supposed to apply principle, you're trying to apply prayer. There's a post that I made on Facebook a few days back. I said, you don't need prayer to have a healthy relationship, but you need wisdom to have a healthy relationship. Because the same example that you gave, there was this man of God when I was in school in Gateway. He said there was this woman in church that used to talk a lot. So she used to complain to the pastor, saying, my husband beats me a lot. I want you to pray for me. So one day, on a Sunday, during the church service, the pastor called the same woman and he said, get this stick of matches and when your husband comes, put it under your tongue, so kind of straight so. So meaning when the husband comes, you're not supposed to say a thing. You're not supposed to say, you nod your head and you do like this. So meaning, it's not the husband who has the problem, it's the wife who has the problem because she talks a lot. And then she came back to church to say that
hopefully she was not beaten for not talking.
And then she came to testify, this week has passed, my husband has never beaten me. So sometimes it's not really about,
it's the principles.
It's just to follow the principles.
The principles.
Life has got principles.
I'll tell you, life is full of codes. I call them codes. Those are principles. Life is full of codes. And those codes are, if you want to live a healthy life, you should practice the codes of health. If you want to be successful, you must practice the codes of success. You understand what I'm saying? If you want to have a successful marriage, you should have those codes, the principles of marriage, the principles that holds marriage. When you go in marriage, there are principles. There are the principles of communication. You need to communicate when you are in marriage and so on and so forth. If you are not following this, you are going to have problems in your marriage. So life is just about codes. So it's either you are principled or you are not principled. No demons in between. Exactly. It's either you are principled or you are not principled. That's all.
Because I've seen people, but at the end of the day, they are still doing the same thing that is making them become what
exactly.
And they expect their children to become different from them when they are seeing what they are doing in the house.
It's the principles that you apply. Apply the right principles, you will get the right results that you want.
Exactly.
If you want to be successful, that's why it is very important. Now you see that some people, let me tell you, do you know that some people are poor right now? Even me, I've got some people in my network who are suffering and they are poor just because they are jealousing people that are supposed to help them. You get the point? The principle of making it or being successful is get closer to the people that are doing it. Don't fight them, but learn how they do it. Some people think learning, when you come, I'll come and tell you to say, no, this is how we make money. There is a mango where we pluck money, where we do. It's the principles. Get the principles of the man. Begin to understand that what time does this man wake up? When he wakes up, you wake up. Know where he's going. What is he doing? Are you getting it? Me, when I started this business, when I started business, I was following my mentor. The guy was Scottish. He was principled when it comes to time. He was principled when it comes to communication. He was principled when it comes to service delivery. He will not promise you I'll deliver at 10 hours and deliver at 14 hours. Never. I started reading those things and I replicated those things. That's why when you come to me, if we are dealing business with you, I'll tell you there is no business here or there is business. I'll not tell you come and collect your item and I don't deliver to you. So life is about principles. If you want to be successful, follow the principles of success.
So like another question, I'm sure this is the last question I'm going to ask you because we are looking at time. So we are speaking about inspiration. It doesn't really just apply to the male part, even our wives in our homes. So there are situations where
what they should do so that they can also, add value you know. And life is full of surprises. Me, I don't know what may happen to me. You know, we are seeing people just from nowhere, somebody collapses and dies. God forbid that I die young, but what I'm saying is, it's the reality of life. People have been involved in accidents. There are a lot of things that are happening. So if it was that today you are found in that situation and your wife was left with nothing, who will raise your kids? Who will be there for the kids? So it's very important, because we may never know. I may be the one to go first, or it might be my wife. But you understand that here in Zambia, most men go faster. That's why we've got a lot of widows than widows. Yeah, because men go faster. So it's very important that we help these women to stand on their own. That's where you see the true love. If somebody loves you, they'll stick with you even when they have something. Some people, when you empower them today, you see their true colors. And I'm better off living in the truth than living in the lie. Because you can have a lie of a marriage, you can have a lie of a relationship, just because somebody doesn't have where to go. So empower them. Let them also voice out. Let them speak, knowing they are independent. Some women are abused, they are beaten, they are emotionally blackmailed, but they have nowhere to go. So the only thing that they can do is to stay in that marriage. For me, I feel it's not right.
True.
So it's very important. And I stand as one of the advocates that people should be empowered, women should be empowered. I applaud those NGOs that are pushing the agenda of a girl child. But let's also remember a boy child as we push for that agenda. But I recommend them that a girl child should be educated, a girl child should be empowered, a girl child should have something, so that they don't suffer what their parents suffered. They don't stay in that Isha club. They don't stay for the sake of the kids, but they stay because while they are staying, there is love, there is peace, and there is unity.
Exactly. So today you have it. It has been an amazing show. I'm sure we have a lot to upload. I'm sure we can have another conversation.
Sure.
I'm sure the next time Madame is supposed to be there.
No problem.
Madame is supposed to be there.
We'll invite her.
People are supposed to see the queen now. People are supposed to be the queen, so they learn from that.
Yeah.
So in most cases, I've really learned a lot from this conversation. Thing of an assembly a party conversation, the big money has taught us a lot of things. Could have sometimes banama watapova chopanga nda washafo kuipika kupianga munga nda kuchitenshi, and then you find that even your female children tend to do the same. That's why you're seeing people nowadays I shop makeup so she can't even look for her own money. It's because of the way they were mother were. So let's try by all means people to make sure that we create a healthy environment for our kids. Because at the end of the day, when the home is broken, the nation is broken as well. So let's try by all means to make sure that these same kids we are having right now, they're going to be the future ministers of the country, they're going to be doctors, they're going to be president. So whatever we feed them, whatever we give them is what they're going to become. So it's very vital, it's very important that you guys should listen to this show. You should pay much attention because you'll be able to learn a lot of things. This is for the parents, this is for the children, and this is for the people that are in the way of having a home. So this is a very important topic. I urge everybody to stay glued to the channel. I urge everybody to stay glued to the page so you'll be able to learn a lot of things. I'm sure I don't know if you have some last words to talk to the viewers.
I just want to appreciate you for coming to pay me a visit and having this wonderful.
It's a very nice house.
Oh, it
it's
is.
Very nice. I'm sure you guys that if I the next time I'll come here, I'm gonna take you on a tour so that you'll be able to see the house in full. It's very beautiful. You'll be inspired.
Wow, no.
The guy from Chitolika.
Chitolika, praise himself. No, I think I'm glad you came through. Appreciate your team and everything. And I just want also to appreciate you for the work that you are doing. It's a commendable job, and I'm happy that you've actually chosen me to be one of the guests on your shows.
First episode.
Yeah, it's the first episode.
First episode.
Wow, that's good. So I'm sure we'll be able to promote this and just make sure that I think we do the right thing. So I'm grateful. Let's build a strong nation by encouraging to have a strong home and not a broken home. Thank you very much. God bless you.
I would love to give you the flowers I got you see your life as well.
Yeah, sure.
I'm really inspired by the way you do things.
Wow.
I'm really inspired the fact that you are able to help out those people that are in need. I've seen you've built up businesses that does not only support you, but they support a lot of people. And what you're doing God's work.
Yeah.
Because just being able to provide a job for someone to feed their family, provide something that can change somebody's situation, that's been an answer to someone's prayer. And I believe Shtulika is in safe hands. I believe they have been blessed with the Moses of their generation to change the situation in the environment. May you continue doing the same thing. Sometimes we tend to feel tired, we tend to feel as if we are not enough for the people. But you should always remember that there are people that look up to you, there are people that you help out. May you continue doing the same thing. You've been a blessing to me, you've been a blessing to a lot of people, even the people that are just following at a distance. You are so humble, you're down to earth and everything, and thank you so much for finding time like this to have a conversation with me.
Sure. No. The pressure is all mine.
Yeah, exactly.
Good.
May God continue blessing you.
Amen.
So it has been.
I receive it.
You're supposed to receive it. You're just supposed to receive it.
Sure.
So it has been morning breakfast with Emmanuel and my host here right now, Mr. Sebastian, and this is the end of our first episode. Be on the lookout of many episodes coming out. I'm sure by the end of this series, your life is gonna change, your relationship is gonna change, the way you view things is gonna change, everything is going to change. Just stay glued to the same channel. For me and Mr. Sebastian, we are saying bye bye. See you next time. Thank you so much for watching.
Cheers.